Going through the archway. What's up, everyone? This is Joe Sorrentino, and welcome to a special Halloween edition of New England RC. So this is not going to be your typical RC car video that I usually do. I wanted to do something a little bit different, spirit of Halloween, because in addition to RC cars and other RC related products, my other true passion is Halloween. And I've been decorating my house for years, and it's something I really get into every year, and I'm always making these things look better and better every year, and I'm always trying to outdo myself each year. So I'm going to try to relate today's episode as best I can to RC cars, in the fact that when you have RC cars, you're always trying to upgrade your cars, you're trying to make things better. Well, it's the same with Halloween decorations, and every year I do the same with that. So I want to show you guys a few highlights on how some of my RC cars have been used to go along with my decorations, especially early on with my Traxxas Rustler. You'll see in some video footage here how they've been incorporated in some past episodes. But also, I just kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit about what I've been doing here these past few weeks, getting things set up for the big holiday, some of my trials and tribulations, and how I got started and where I am today. So if you guys watch through this entire episode, at the end of the video, I will show you guys some of the current RC car related projects that I'm working on right now and what I'm gonna be doing in the future. Let's go. Behind me is my newest addition. This Archway that I bought over at Home Depot. Absolutely love this thing. It looks really cool, both in the daytime as well as at night. When I first got it, it was very plain and simple. You can see it didn't light up at first. It was just what it was. It took me a little bit of time to build. Once I did, I realized that it needs to be lit. I added all the lighting effects to it to get it to look like this. Also added some skull eyes as well, to kind of get them to pop, although they're a little hard to see at night. But I can show you guys how that looks during the daytime. And just like magic, here's what it looks like during the daytime. You can see behind me the skulls, how the eyes are lit up really cool, all using these glow-in-the-dark stickers that I picked up on Amazon. Really cool look to it. I got the same thing going on both sides. Very different from the daytime and at night. But at nighttime, when I light it up, it kind of hides them a little. You can't really see them as well. I added some blue spotlights down below here. You can see a little bit here to try and get them to pop a little bit more. And it seems to be doing the job. I just wish the spotlight would reach up and around the arch too, but it just doesn't quite get there. Still looks cool though, but it's a work in progress. It's a new thing that I've added this year, and I'm sure I'll be tweaking it as time goes on. But great start, thing lights up nice. Great pathway to get things started when you're coming into my house. All right, going through the archway, and now you can see as you're coming along, we've got these spotlights here. I've got the purple and orange lights this year, something new I've added, and white lights as well, just to brighten up the path a little bit. And it's really a nice addition this year. It goes all the way down to the front door, just to help the trick-or-treaters see where they're going when they're coming up to my house. I like the way these torches flicker. Just a really cool effect. Gives it that eeriness, that Halloween feel. You can get these on Amazon. I'll have a link in the description if you guys are looking for these type of things. They're really cool. As well as these little spotlights that light the pathway as well. This guy over here, this inflatable 9-foot-tall giant cat, has been my pride and joy since the beginning. I started with this guy, and actually it's not this guy, it's not the original cat that I had. I had another one, but it all started when I was at Walgreens and found one like him for about 50 bucks. Fell in love with it, and over the years, he got a lot of attention. People really liked him. I started decorating around him a little bit to hide some of his ropes and stuff so people wouldn't get caught on the lines. Skull faces you see in front of him to kind of help with that, and then a spotlight to light up his face as well. And he's just really cool. I love how his head turns side to side. Just a really cool, unique decoration. Really pops. Now this guy has these little houses that I got from Five Below. I picked up some new solar lights that kind of work well, except the battery life doesn't last too long. The solar lights are inside these enclosures. One thing I also wanted to point out about him, you may notice that he's sitting on this platform that's actually made out of PVC piping that I picked up. And you can see the frame comes up and around. You can see it's attached to the bottom, and it covers his whole body and his big legs as well as his little legs. Now the reason for that is that I get some terrible winds throughout the month. He's always bouncing around and cables break and you see him flopping around. So this is just an extra support for him so that he doesn't move around too much. And just like magic, you can see here again during the daytime, here's how my cat looks. A much more visible look at him. Here's another look at the skeleton face fence pieces that I've been using to kind of hide those wires so people don't trip over them. So you can see wherever I have a rope, I also have a shepherd hook with skull skull fences. And see here, I did the same thing on this side. It's a safety thing, but it also looks cool and it lights up, so it's kind of a win-win scenario. And there you can see during the day how cool the whole thing looks all together. So after I purchased the Halloween cat, the next thing I picked up was this guy here, the spider. He's really cool, and I just recently added some new things to him. I've added these glow-in-the-dark eyes. The lights that are inside there actually died, and I didn't take the time to change them out. So instead, I just put a little spotlight on him here, and then just threw some eyes to give him a little added effect. Now, in past years, he's been really enhanced. I've actually had this guy on a PVC web that I built, so he's up high, dangling, and really looking cool with like all kinds of additional webs that I added behind him. But it was always a pain every year because I get these big storms at night a lot of the times during the year that just always would wreck it. And I'd be constantly coming up and trying to like fix it, and it just drove me nuts, always having to constantly maintain it. So this year I decided to just keep it simple, and he's just sitting on a plastic table with a black cloth on top, so you can't even really see the table that he's sitting on, just to raise him up a little bit so he's not flat on the ground. There's the spider during the daytime. You can see how cool he looks. He looks very different during the day. You can actually see him a lot better. I love how his head moves from side to side. Just a creepy little critter, and people really seem to enjoy him. We sure do. This guy here is the next thing we picked up, and probably my favorite. I love how his wings flap, and I love his red little beady eyes with the fire coming out of his mouth. And then if you look on his belly, you can see that's got like some fire glow going also. Really cool stuff with this guy. I absolutely adore him. He's my favorite by far. He's 10 feet tall. I just added a little light there to brighten him up a little bit so you can see his wings when he's flapping. And there's my prized possession dragon during the daytime. You can see here how I've anchored him down, his two legs that are tied down, along with some stakes in the ground just so he doesn't rise up. Because when the wind kicks up, sometimes he can move around on me. So those stakes down there are to keep him from doing so. And he's been holding up really good this year. So far, so good. And this little ghost here is the newest one that I added. He's a small, cheap one that we picked up. I can't remember where we got him actually, but really cool little guy. And I added a couple of eyes to his pumpkin that he's holding, which to give him a little extra fun. He actually lit up originally when we got him. He's been around for a couple of years now. The light inside him died as well. I just hadn't taken the time to change it. Instead, I just added a floodlight, and that just seems to be doing the trick for him. Here's my ghost during the daytime. You can see him nice and clearly now. He's looking nice with his little pumpkin there, beady eyes looking right at you. All right, moving on. Let's see what else we got here. This guy here, little New England Patriots shirt pumpkin guy, something I created. It actually started off as just a little pumpkin sign that said Happy Halloween. It broke, so I decided to make something out of it using that as a head, and then a PVC body frame that I built. I got these little green witch hands I used for him, and then I just grabbed a couple of big shoes and just built a PVC support frame underneath him. And then on the back you can see how I did this PVC pipe to hold him all together so he doesn't fall down, and a little sandbag to support the pipe from falling. Now this girl here, you can see, is part of the Pumpkin Twins package. This guy and this girl, Pumpkin Twins, Home Depot special. These guys actually talk.
Trick or treat. Don't you look scary tonight?
Is my head on straight?
I hope we see some ghosts and goblins tonight.
Give us something good and sweet.
If you don't, we can be mean.
Be careful. We can bite.
And also give you quite a fright. Trick or treat.
And now under here, you can see these pumpkins all lit up. I added these speakers, which are cool. You turn them on. These are also solar powered. They have lights. They're really bright. They're Bluetooth. You can pair them. There's one on each side. You pair them to your phone. There's our fun little witch here that we got, who has a little cauldron that I bought. This is like a cheap little thing. I don't even know where I got this, but it looked kind of like a cauldron. Not quite a cauldron, but close enough. She's pretty cool. Got a new broom for her. And there's a little effect in there. As you can see, when there's the right amount of water, the device that's in there now is a mist maker, and you can see that it bubbles up and makes like a nice foggy, misty smoke, which is really fun and really entertaining for the kids. We like to keep things a little bit on the silly side, not too scary, so we don't want to frighten the kids too much. So she's got a little goofy face on her, a little grin there, but it's okay, we like it. She matches up pretty good with our little Halloween kids on the front here, which I think is nice and inviting for trick-or-treaters when they come. Here's my pumpkin guy during the day, as well as the pumpkin twin over there as well, both looking great during the daytime. You can see how they look a little more visibly there, a little more clearly. And their two counterparts there, you can see the other twin and my witch, also during the day with their little cauldron and her broom, looking pretty good there as well. And now onto the front door steps here. So we got these two torches here on both sides. These are great little effects here. And then I got this witch on this side here. She talks.
Double, double, cauldron bubble. Come in here
This guy's my newest addition. He sings and plays guitar. I absolutely adore him. I think kids are gonna absolutely love this guy. Right now I've got the sound turned off, but you can see he's going to town, jamming out just the same without any sound, and that's great too. I like to have him on a timer, which he is on right now, a dusk to dawn timer. When the daylight comes, I got him to shut off so we don't waste electricity all day long. As soon as the dusk comes on, he turns on and plays his guitar all night. Now this guy is hard to find. I actually had to go and find him on eBay. He's last year's model from Target. You can't buy him anymore. That's one of the things you find about these Halloween things. You gotta kind of get them when you can.
Give a hand to my ghostly backup band, everybody. Oh, we can always use a spare in case one of ours falls off. Happens all the time.
New spotlights, one up here for lighting him up, and one up here for her.
Yes, listen here while I sing
And
you
with
a
these
little
fire
tune about
torches
my
looking great.
ribcage. I'm falling through you.
And behind me, we have my jamming skeleton there. You can see he's looking pretty good during the day. You can see him more clearly now, as well as the witch over there on the other side, both looking good. But for those who want something a little more spooky, I have this little graveyard set up. This has been enhanced over the years. This is my best display so far. Playing with colors, playing with lighting, got this thing looking really cool. In past years, I just used white lights, and then I realized the purple lights really give it a nice eeriness. And then as an added effect, we added a green one in the middle just to offset it a little bit, give it a little contrast. And then in the back, we just added these flat tombstones. I used red solar lights, which are nice and bright, and adding some enhancement to the back wall as well. So you can see I did it on both sides here with these new red tombstones. The idea is a little bit of red, a little bit of purple, and green in the middle, and it lights up these two guys, which are awesome as well as the walls. My whole wall turns purple, which is kind of cool. Now this guy initially could talk. Right now, not so much. He works on AAA batteries. He's a vampire skeleton that I bought at CVS. He was the display model. I got him at a discounted price. It was great. Since then, he's taken a beating over the years with storms. I used to actually have him over on this side up here where the new skeleton is now. When he lit up, his eyes would turn red. He would talk. He had multiple phrases that he would say. I can cut to some older footage where you can get to see him in his full form where he's talking and
Welcome, please welcome. It is wonderful to be in a house so full of life.
batteries aren't working anymore. So we just got him stationary. I had to rebuild his frame though, because he took such a bad bashing that he no longer was supported well. I couldn't get him to stand up. His head was falling off. His body wasn't attached to the legs. So I had to rebuild his frame using PVC. It actually came out pretty good. And I added these little glow-in-the-dark eyes. Newest guy, also this year. I'm going to show you how he works. Sound is off currently, but he still moves. Motion activated. And you can see his eyes light up really cool. And it's late at night. I don't want to disturb my tenant downstairs, but he talks and he has many phrases as well. That's really cool because he's moving his arms and his head and his body. As you can see, his mouth moving. And he says a few different things, which is really, really cool. And let's flash to some footage now where you can hear him actually talking.
It's Halloween, and I feel like I'm losing my head. Candy, candy, candy.
And now on to the tombstones here. You can see they're just styrofoam tombstones with some webbing that I added, and I just kind of stretched it along to kind of support them better. But what I find the best way to mount these things is when you use a styrofoam pad on the bottom and you stick them on the styrofoam pad so they don't blow around on you. And then I usually put bricks down to mount the whole thing together. And you can see I put a cinder block on this guy too to mount him, and some heavy rocks on the other guy. So you gotta weight your bases down, make sure they're stabilized, because we get some pretty serious winds in New England, and we'll make sure things stay afloat. Added some glow-in-the-dark eyes to the tombstones as well this year. Now these guys that you can see here actually are animated. The head will come up and down throughout the night, and they make these really loud, obnoxious sounds. We will flash to some previous footage where you can see these guys working. What's really cool is these guys actually light up, and you can see the eyes will light up. It's going to flash to another footage right now where you can see this working. Those little skull heads are actually not included. I added those later from the dollar store. I added some googly eyes to them to give them added effect. And lastly here, a little extra guy here. You can see it was a costume I had, just the skull face and a couple of hands that went together, made this thing. And sometimes those light up and sometimes they don't. Right now they're not, but we'll flash the footage where the T lights are working. You can see this guy with his eyes lit up. It's pretty cool. And then we also have a fog machine in the back, so let's get the fog machine going now. Show you some previous footage when I was doing some testing, seeing how that works. Pretty cool stuff having the fog. Really cool enhancement when you add that. Brings the eeriness to this whole grave site, just makes it really cool looking. My graveyard is definitely not as spooky during the daytime, but great for any kids stopping by that don't want to be totally freaked out. Here's a more clear look at what these tombstones look like, the new ones that we just picked up. Tombstones during the day. You can see how different things look during the daytime. Very different feel, less scary, but still pretty cool. And our two friends hanging out here, my skeleton and my skeleton vampire. All right, and now we're going to head over to Star Wars land over here. I got this whole Star Wars setup. These are actually Christmas decorations too, but they serve purposes both ways. We got Darth Vader starting here. Now, Darth Vader is something I've been working on for a long time. He's been developed over the years. Got PVC pipe as his back frame. This heavy-duty speaker stand really holds him up well. He started out as just the head that you could wear over your head and had a little voice piece that makes you change the sound effects. I built these really cool custom belts that I made out of guitar pedal boxes. That worked out pretty good. And then I put lights in it and I had it all lit up really nicely. There's a little box that it came with and you could push buttons on it and it would make sounds.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Problem was it was too heavy and I couldn't get it to stay upright. Eventually I did away with the voice box and decided to just buy a costume. It had a built-in chest piece here, so I had to remove the other ones. And it has the built-in belt and his crotch piece, we'll call it. Back piece is here, and then a cape that drapes over him and attaches to the chest here as well. I got some gloves separately, and then the boots here. Picked those up on eBay. This is actually part of the costume, these flaps here. There's actually boots, heavy-duty black boots that work really cool. Problem with him, as you can see here, his hand is missing. Lightsaber on the ground as well. Really hard to keep that thing from falling off. The weight of the lightsaber is just too much for him. But if anybody asks, we're just going to say Luke Skywalker came along and cut his hand off. I'm just tired of constantly trying to fix it because it always falls off. Now moving on, you can see the TIE Fighter with Darth Vader in there. Home Depot had this. Now I had actually built over the years my own TIE Fighter out of PVC pipe, and that thing was amazing. One year where I actually had Darth Vader on top of it, so I was trying to create that look, if you guys remember from Rebels, when he's floating down to face off with Ezra Bridger for the first time. You can see him on top of the TIE Fighter, and it just was a really cool look, and I wanted to do the same thing as a Halloween prop. So previous model that I did where he's on top of it and it just looked awesome. I put lights on it, I went crazy. But just like every year, I always faced weather conditions that were out of my control. Eventually the whole thing just broke apart on me. Ultimately, when I found the inflatable version, it just was the better option. And now we're on to our Stormtrooper here. Over the years, it's been developed, started off as just a costume. I decided to make another PVC pipe type thing. Same idea as Vader costume and the PVC holding it all together. He's held up with actually a microphone stand, a little lighter weight because he's not as heavy as Darth Vader, and a couple of sandbags to hold it all down so it doesn't flop around as well. Same problem though, I got this sweet gun here that I bought on eBay. Here's a good look at the Stormtrooper's gun that I picked up. It's a Star Wars gun. It keeps falling off too, just like Darth Vader and his lightsaber here, both falling off all the time. So again, if anybody asks, Luke Skywalker was in town, came over and knocked his hand off. That's it. I get tired of dealing with it year after year, so I'm just gonna leave it on the ground and I'm just gonna deal with it later. Newest addition, R2-D2 and the X-Wing fighter. Really cool. Facing off my AT-AT, who's been banged up over the years. You can see I've got him with multiple spotlights because the lights that were on him are no longer working, but he's still holding true. I've got him going. Getting back to R2 though, really cool. He's all lit up. I like him just as he is. And one of the really cool things about this is these lights right here in the back that looks like the thrusters here just going off off. And I love how they blink and light up. They're a really cool effect. That's weighted down with a couple of ties here. The AT-AT, he's got multiple straps, one on each side. Got them mounted down with some cinder blocks. And I also, like I did on the Halloween cat that I showed you previously, did the same type of PVC platform to support him too, because this guy with his long legs always flopping around like crazy. But this support frame really did the trick. There's Darth Vader during the daytime, still missing his hand, unfortunately. TIE Fighter looks good. And then beside him over here, the Stormtrooper, also with a missing hand. My new X-Wing looking real good with R2-D2 in the Santa hat. My prized AT-AT looking pretty good during the day too. And here's one last look at the completed 2023 display. Everything's lit up. And just so you guys know, during the making of this video, I did update a couple of more things, change the colors out. Got a green and a blue one here now, just to give it a little more variety in the light colors. And we did the same over here with Star Wars Land. Lit up the Stormtrooper green and my AT-AT blue, just to give it a little more color and variety. And decided to give one more chance, taping up the hand on there and the lightsaber on Vader. One more try. We'll see how long it lasts before they fall again, but at least they're up for now. Lantern's working now. Also the lights on both sides of these. And these guys got enough light, looks like. My friend's up above as well. All right, so that's the basic gist of it for this year, what I'm doing for Halloween. Thank you guys for checking out what I've been up to. It's been a real rewarding experience. People always come up to me every year. They see all the things I'm doing, and usually when I'm in the process of putting something together, I always get someone come by letting me know how much they appreciate the work I do every year and how much they love the decorations, and their kids love it every year. And it just makes me feel good. It makes me want to do it all the more every year. So thank you for everyone that stops by, anyone that's watching this video that recognizes my house. And thank you guys. You guys help me make this all possible too, so it's important to me. For those of you now that have hung in there long enough to see this thing through, I want to reward you now by showing you all the awesome RC stuff that I'm going to be doing in the near future. So let's go and check out what I've been up to. This way to the RC track. Let's go. I got another sign here. This way to the RC track. Now before we get up to the RC track, I want to point out off to the side here, you can see there's a bridge. I've started a crawler park. That obviously just still in early stage development, but you can see there's a whole lot of rocks over there in addition to that bridge. And I have done some test trials, and I've got a couple RC cars that already go up and over. So they're nice. They can go from one tier of this little sunken in area here that goes from one tier to the other tier. Lots of rocks for them to maneuver over. Eventually, I'm going to build this up better. I'm going to have more obstacles to have during the daytime or at night outside for my RC cars. So stay tuned for videos to come on that as I develop it. Now, continuing up the stairway and over to my RC car track. Some of you folks are well aware of this. I've already built it. Some might be just seeing it for the first time. It took me several months to build this in this backyard here, and put a little picnic table so anyone that's hanging out can just sit there and enjoy, and other people can race their cars along the grass here. It was a big grassy area. It was barely ever used. I was always cutting the lawn every year, thinking to myself, why am I cutting all this grass? We don't even use it. Now we have a purpose to come up here now. And I've done several videos already with this RC track and multiple cars that I've demonstrated testing and seeing how they perform on the track. So if you guys haven't seen those videos yet, I'll have links in the description so you can check out some of those videos. Also wanted to let you guys know that I'm still in the development process of making two videos. One showing how I built this whole track to begin with, and secondly, how I built that driver stand over there as well. I want to do them in two separate videos. They're very long, lots of intensive material. I'm still sifting through footage. It's taking me forever, guys. But I want you to know it's on the works, so stay tuned. In the near future, I will have videos for both development stages of how I got these things together in this backyard. So that's to come. Stay tuned for that. And I just thought I'd come in here and show you inside. You can see in this area is a whole bunch of mini RC cars on shelves here with remote controls attached. I've got these great little stands that hold them up, and multiple cars. These are the cars I've been using on the track. Really small vehicles, perfect size for the track, because you don't want anything too big, because it's not a lot of room to work with in this area. So you got to keep these little buggies small. These are 1/16th, 1/14th, and 1/20th scale buggies. And over here I have my little work shelf here so I can work on cars. I put this all together here. I've got some chargers set up, batteries in here, multiple accessories. You can see I got checkered flags, spotlights all around here, there, and off onto this side, as well as up above on the opposite side. And those are flag poles that I bought on Amazon that go up high Jenaai with spotlights attached so that this thing can be lit up at night. And additionally, I've got little solar lights all around the track as well. I got a little safety sign here, 4 people at a time, because I don't know how much weight this is going to hold, but you can see I'm being extra careful covering all my tracks. You got the stairs here, then I go up on this nice little deck that I built. This mat lights up at night. I even got a little mini fridge, this little extra shelf so you don't knock your beers down. See how cool it looks up above here. So what you see here is the beginning stages of a indoor crawler park. You can see I've got my little seesaw here, obstacles over there, tightrope walk over here, and then this nice big bridge that I just bought recently from Enduro. Videos on these two are currently available to watch. Links in the description. These other things on the way. This here is another thing that I bought. It's a little starter kit, carpet circuit. Comes with these 4 accessories and a little area to put them on. So I'll be combining this with what's here, and I'm going to be making a nice indoor crawler park for in here. Stay tuned for that. Also got some new vehicles still in boxes. The Conqueror here, 8-wheel amphibious armored RC car. Looks like a little bus on wheels. What's appealing about it is that it goes on land and water. So I'm thinking about throwing that in the pool and seeing how it performs in there. It's closed for the season, but maybe we can do some testing with the little bit of water that's in there now. And in the summertime, we can have more fun with it. But I will be doing an unboxing video on this in the near future, so stay tuned for that. Also here is the Devastator 1/24th scale RC crawler. What I like about this one, it's got 4-wheel steering, so you can steer in the front and in the rear. Saw this on Kevin Talbot's channel, really jumped at me, so I decided to get one as well. And then I got this remote control, which is going to go with this new lunchbox mini that I have to put together still. That's another video to come, guys, so stay tuned for that. Real quickly, just showing you my boat collection here. This guy, his motor went on me last year. I have a motor rebuild on him, so I'll have them all working next year, so stay tuned for a video on that. Over on this side, I've got many vehicles. My XRT, Outcast, Stanchi Ridge Rock, Arma Creighton, 1/8 scale, Arma Vendetta. My Arma Notorious has fallen apart on me. The bell crank broke. I'm gonna have to do a video as I put that back together. The X-Max up above, fully customized. I have all kinds of videos still to come that I haven't had a chance to do, including a video of this awesome little snow plow I got actually last year. Lots of videos on this to come. And also a Wide Max kit. That'll be a project in the near future. Now over here, my Rustler, my very first RC car. A lot more videos to come on that. The Son of a Digger is one of my favorites. I have videos to come on this where I have a new jump that I bought specifically for it so I could do tricks and stuff. Oh, sweet. This is another one of my crawlers. I got to do some more videos on this. I've added lights to it. My Losi laser nut. I've added lots of lights to this thing on the bottom here. Stay tuned for videos on that. Italian. Also did some upgrades, painted the wheel rims, did a whole bunch of different upgrades. Stay tuned for more footage on that. Also under here, guys, I have some Star Wars drones. I've got the X-Wing, a land speeder with a stormtrooper on it, and Darth Vader's TIE fighter, all 3. Stay tuned, guys. I want to do videos on these. I'm actually thinking of doing a whole Star Wars series. I also have a little R2-D2 unit as well as a small AT-AT. Stay tuned, videos to come. This here is my Carbon Cub plane. Been very badly abused. I am a terrible pilot. You can see duct tape all around this thing. Wings are broken. Everything's falling apart on me. I'm gonna add some new wings, tires, and we're gonna totally rebuild this thing next year. Transitioning into my other RC collection here. Now these are my Cat Simons cars. I got a tank here. I've done some videos on. I got more videos to come. It's a crawler. It's gonna be used in my little outdoor crawler park that I was showing you guys. This here, the Katana, is Simon's favorite vehicle. This little RC stunt bike is hard to steer and it topples over easily. Not really that great. But check out my new Losi Pro Moto that just arrived today. The hottest new item that you can buy. I waited 2 months before this thing finally arrived at my favorite store, Hobby Quarters, and now that it's here, I can't wait to test drive it on my outdoor track. If you haven't subscribed already, you're definitely gonna want to subscribe to see this thing. Videos to come. Pinecone makes this a really good one. I've got the Bigfoot here, which is great. Video on the way for this little guy. He actually has a little video camera and records you while he's driving around. And I still have videos yet to come for these little guys. Team Associated makes these really cool smaller cars that my cat Simon adores. And then here is the Awesome Hossum, as I like to call it, which I added some red lighting to, and that thing's really cool as well. Also new this year, I've got these mini cars. Turbo Racing comes with multiple little ones. My cat loves them, especially this one. This one's like a monster truck. And I have an an open turbo racer on its own. I like those monster truck ones so much that I bought a second one. Still have to do the unboxing video on this. Also over here, I got a little dinosaur. Thought I would try chasing my cat around with that. So far, he does not like the dinosaur. It scares the hell out of him. That's another video to come in the near future. So as you can see, guys, plenty of stuff in the works. Stay tuned. There's so much to come. And thank you for being part of New England RC. Well, that's going to do it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this special edition episode of New England RC. If so, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and smash the notification bell to stay updated on when my next video becomes available. Until then, this is Joe Sorrentino saying thanks for watching. See you on the next one.